We live in a world where the Gorosei are fighting before Monkey D. Dragon. That is wild. But you know what else is wild? This chapter. When it comes to introductions, Oda never disappoints, and with the Gorosei coming in full force raiding Egghead, we are now finally witnessing their true power, and it might not be devil fruit related. Also, Zoro finally defeated Lucci. It's about damn time. But the fact that the Gorosei are here in the flesh and they are locked in, they are not here to play any games. It's really crazy. We're really in the end game of One Piece. Chapter 1110 has come out, and it was another phenomenal chapter, picking up exactly where we left off in the last chapter with the Gorosei raiding Egghead, and these guys are absolute beasts. Literally. So we're going to be discussing what exactly is going on in this chapter and what actual powers the Gorosei are possessing and how it might not actually be devil fruit related. Of course, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon to stay notified. I would greatly appreciate it, but without further ado, let's talk about the demons disguised as gods, aka the Gorosei. So the chapter starts off with the Gorosei being summoned to Egghead and there's black lightning popping off. This is interesting because Lucci insinuates that this could be hockey related. He mentions to Zoro that there's some strong hockey going around. I wonder who that is. I have mentioned this before, but it would make sense for these guys to have Conqueror's hockey simply because they are the head of the government and they do have kingly ambition, very large ambition. They quite literally rule the world alongside Emu. But anyways, the Gorosei arrive on Egghead, and without missing a beat, they start popping off. They're all in their awakened forms, and I'm not gonna lie, I only really like 2 of the transformations. The other 3 are kinda goofy. However, the double spread is one of the best ones we've gotten in the entire arc, and it's kinda crazy that this is what Sabo saw back in Mary Joie. I really understand why he said this looks like it's hell. So let's go through each transformation, what they mean, and their possible powers, starting with Saturn, who is confirmed to be the yokai Gyuki. We've already made a video discussing him in the past. I don't want to waste our time talking about him again because he's the goofiest looking one. He's also pretty trash. But you know who isn't? Saint V Nusjuro. This guy is nuts. He stole the show. This guy was easily the best part of the chapter and really brought the hype back to the Gorosei. He really has the aura that we all really wanted from these guys. This guy is called the Bokotsu, which seems to be an undead skeletal horse. He honestly has the best design out of all of them, with Marcus Mars being the second. This guy's a beast. This guy comes straight onto the field and without missing a beat, he stares down the pacifista and starts racing down, cutting each and every single one of them on the coastline. And he's fast as shit, boy, as he's running across the entire island, cutting them down one by one. He seems to have a similar ability to Brook, where he's freezing the targets that he cuts, so he might be borrowing the power from the underworld as well. He's also capable of turning his sword black using armament hockey, as he seems to be a proficient sword user, as we all believed he would be, just based off the way he would take care of his blade whenever we saw him, and he was always seen holding his sword. So he definitely is going to be a future opponent for Zoro. Honestly, they could even have a clash during this arc. And there's been a theory for a long time that Nusjuro actually has the Shodai Kitetsu, as his blade does look similar to the other Kitetsu blades, and that would mean he does have a supreme grade blade sword and the strongest of the Kitetsu blades. Next we have is Ho-Oh, aka Marcus Mars, who is the Itsumare, a yokai that has the face of a human but the body of a snake and a bird. He easily has the second best design. Now this yokai is very strange. It only appears during suffering and death and flies around the night sky screaming its own name. As soon as he arrives on the battlefield on frame 1, he jumps into the air and decides to do a brave bird on the Labo phase. Obviously he's immortal, I'm assuming, so even if he's damaged he can just slip right through. I can see Sanji trying to intercept him because obviously the women are in trouble and we know how Sanji rolls. Next we have is Topman, who is the Hoki, aka the Fengxi. This is a Chinese mythological boar that is known for violence, greed, and destruction, destroying the countryside, and sometimes referred to as an ancient rain deity. He doesn't really do anything. He literally just there and stands there, whatever. And finally we have Jupiter, who's a fucking worm, bro. Like, get this guy out of here. The Gorosei need to kick this guy out. Like, what the hell is this? This guy turned into the Alaskan bullworm. He's a sandworm. He can dig underground. Whatever. He ate Luffy and it gets chopped up. Whatever, man. However, when Oda introduces these powers, he does something unprecedented. Unlike what he's done with previous Devil Fruit users, he doesn't specify the class or what the full title is. He just calls it the Itsumade, the Bokotsu, or the whatever, indicating that these guys might not actually be Devil Fruit users themselves. It's kinda odd, but in fact they could be the actual demon. And because the Gorosei mentioned that all Zoan Devil Fruits have a will of their own and that Nika might have existed in the past, it's possible that all Zoan Devil Fruits also existed at one point in time. That includes the Buddha, Nika, the Phoenix, the Dragon, etc. These things literally existed, and possibly through the DNA lineage factor, they were able to pass on through fruits and their will would continue on forever. So what if these yokai actually existed at some point in time, but rather than being passed down into devil fruits, they're actually the demons themselves? The safest bet would be that these guys are actually devil fruit users and Oda just thought of the community a bit too highly, and that because they're called devil fruits, these things could be what those fruits are based off of, or even the original devil fruits. And that would be pretty cool because these guys are posing as gods, so them actually in possession of actual devil fruits and pretending to be gods would be very befitting of the story. And they flipped the script on the D clan calling them demons when in fact it's the other way around. However, the fact that these guys, or at least Saturn, seems to be immortal and has high regeneration and they haven't aged in decades, it is possible that these guys literally could be demons or some other entity. And the fact that they even describe humans as like insects and something otherworldly is kind of interesting. Even Saturn coming down and being like, it's been a long time since I've been on the surface world. It's like, okay, there's something going on with these guys. Or if you want to go even deeper in the rabbit hole, maybe these guys are the creations of Emu, or even parts of Emu himself split into 5 different people. That would be kind of crazy, similar to how Vegapunk did with his clones. Actually, that would be kind of sick. In a sense, the Gorosei would be Emu satellites. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I don't know if Oda's gonna go that far though. But something about the Gorosei that's interesting is that these guys are named after the planets. You know what else is named after the planets? The ancient weapons. So it's possible that these guys could also be in the same tier as an ancient weapon, or at least ancient deities. I do find it interesting that they're all named after planets, so there's definitely a connection between all of these things. But anyways, as this is happening, Luffy gets swallowed by the Alaskan bullworm, and then he's saved by Dory and Broggy, and these guys finally reunite after 1,000+ chapters. It's a really great moment. Dory and Broggy have been awesome since they returned, and I cannot wait to see how this is about to unfold. The fact that these guys returned to the story and are fighting the Gorosei, phenomenal, man. But as all this was happening, we finally got the conclusion to Zoro versus Lucci, and we got one of the funniest moments of the arc where Zoro is fighting Lucci and he overhears Sanji calling him a burden, and he literally locks in and then just one-shots him. No one had doubt that Zoro was gonna defeat Lucci. There was never any doubt that Zoro would win. It was just surprising that it took this long. Honestly, any of the monster trio, including Jinbei of course, could defeat Lucci. He's nothing compared to these guys. They're Emperor crew now. But that's it. The Gorosei really needed this chapter to get that aura back because Saturn really wasn't doing it. He was just yapping. And honestly, Nusjuro was carrying them on their back. This guy was awesome. I love the designs. Let me know what you guys think down below. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good day and a good night. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.